Okay.
Okay, you can go.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Reza Moosaei. I'm from actually Science School, Queen Mary University of London. So, my topic for presentation today is designing web programming course with considering integration of generative AI. Because as you know, in the programming now, the companies they need AI skill if they employ new staff, especially new program and new developer. So and now, anyone if teaching programming course need to consider this skill as the learning outcome for the programming course. And this is my new research topic because I have been teaching programming for a long time. I mean, over 15 years in different countries with different students in variety of the background. And the problem is normally our students they're struggling to learn programming. Some of them even they come to programming in the first semester they don't like programming because they think it's very difficult to learn, and they drop the course or the program. They switch to another program. So actually, in for fixing this problem, I tried to started to actually from the last year to do the research to find what is the effective teaching framework for teaching programming, how to make it this is effective for a student to learn, and also by as you know, now generative AI, the student now the problem is if they come to programming because it's very difficult to learn. And normally the student they prefer to use generative AI, and they as find it actually the solution of problem from generative AI. And this is struggling for the lecturer to actually figure out misconduct cases, even for these cases. So to actually evaluate a student learning outcome. And so in my research, first I try to find the main components of the effective teaching framework for programming. And but this teaching framework is quite general. These components can be used for any course. As you see in this framework, there are 8 components, and it start from the learning materials, or learning elements. We say it's, or learning objects. After that is a learning skill model is another component. And we come to learning theory, instructional design model.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I can only see slide number 1. I don't know
Oh,
whether
okay. So I don't know let me I share again. Not sure oh, this is, maybe I use this. How about now? Do you see?
it's yes, there now I can see the next slide. Thank
I
you.
think if, okay, let's I go to this way is better.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't maximize.
thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So this is a teaching framework, uh, the main components of the teaching framework. There are the 8 components. The first component is the learning elements. You see in the programming here, I listed the main, the all the component, the elements actually of the programming student they need to learn. And let's see, if we're teaching programming, we have a logic, we have programming language, we have programming coding and tools. So if you teach any programming course, the lecturer, based on the learning outcome, need to make decision, okay, what of these elements is going to be covered in the course? So definitely this is aligned with the learning outcome of the course. Next element is a skill model. Here, this table shows the main skill models a student they need to actually achieve in programming course. As you see, we divided this skill model to soft skill and hard skill. The soft skill is divided to professional skills like problem solving, critical thinking. These two are very important in programming. And attitude and behavior, actually skills like motivation, communication, teamwork, and time management. I'd like you know this teamwork, based on the report from the IT industry from the UK, that report shows, but the report is related to 2020 and say the main skill, the top skill now the IT industry needed from the students is a teamwork. And this is very actually important skill. And they say normally the fresh actually graduated student, they coming from university, they lack teamwork. And this is something is very important. That's why this teamwork is very important skill in my programming course. All my projects are teamwork. So hard skills is about the designing, implementation, and also, as you see, as a skill, I added here generative AI skill because this skill is demanded by industry. And even if you look at the job market, they look if any IT industry they're looking for programmer or developer as a job requirement, they put AI, generative AI or AI skill. So a student they need to have this skill. So if we teach programming to students, we need to consider this skill also as a learning outcome and objective for a student. As a student, they need to actually achieve to this learning outcome as well. So if you look at this framework, the next one is a learning theory. It shows, okay, how the student they learn, what's the lecturer belief of to actually about the learning of a student. And as a learning theory, there are three very main categories: behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. But there are more actually type of the learning theory. But for my programming, I believe the last one, constructivism, because I believe a student they learn programming by doing the programming. And in my class, if normally I don't use a lecturer slide because I use a flip classroom method, and a student they need to look at the lecturer slide and short videos before the classroom. And if they come to class, they have to start to write the code programming. I use a live coding. And so this is a learning theory I'm using for as a foundation for my teaching and for designing methodology for all the course materials. I follow this methodology ADDI model: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Is very similar to software development methodology to develop my materials. The main part of this framework is a teaching approach. If you look at the framework, you see here it's a teaching approach and method. Number 5. So here, as a teaching approach, I use a student-centered approach. Anyone knows what's a student-centered? For my programming courses, as a method inside a student-centered approach, I use a flipped classroom. And for my flipped classroom, normally I create some short video, like 10 minutes from the topic, and I upload into our learning management system is a Moodle. Also, I have a lecture note, and actually also I had a discussion forum. And this one helped a student actually, I asked a student, encourage a student, you need to look at those before you come to class. And if they come to class, actually in the class is fully practical. My teaching is a project based, and a student, they have to work in the pair because I believe a student they learn from each other. And if any activity I do in the class regarding that topic is connected to the coursework, because the coursework is a project. And my teaching method inside the class also is a live coding. I write the code, a student need to follow me, and they need to write the code. And also inside each of my session, there is a quiz. I call knowledge check. If I have time, sometimes I have two quiz in the beginning, another one at the end. In the beginning, just I'm testing, evaluating my student to know, okay, they have studied actually they have watched the video and they know about the topic. And also at the end, also there's another quick quiz. It's very quick online, just 10 minutes about that session topic. And a student again need to answer those quiz. And the quiz also some is the formative assessment, some summative. So this was the approaches in the class. And the assessment is 60% coursework, 40% exam. Exam is focusing on conceptual because after AI, especially generative AI, we decided to add exam to evaluate, assess a student conceptual knowledge. Though my exam is mostly about the concept, but the coursework is going to look at the practical skill, and the project is online shopping. A student they need to develop one online shopping website, and this project is a group project. 3 people in each group. I have around 100 students in each class. And regarding actually the assessment, here I have 3 types of the deliveries. For the website, we have a front end and back end design. For for the front end design of develop of the project website, there is one delivery a student they need to develop the website without using any AI or generative AI tools. So a student they are not allowed to use any generative AI tool, and they generate that website front end of the website by their own knowledge and based on the topics they learn from the class. How I know, I look at the source code, and even in the lab session, actually, I look at the progress, and I can understand the code is generated by a student or is from AI. There is another delivery for the same thing for front end of the project. A student they have to use generative AI. Means the project fully is generated by generative AI. So a student, they have to use generative AI. They get all the code from generative AI and develop the website. And delivery 3 is AI assisted. Means a student, they cannot get the whole they have to actually develop a website by themselves, but they can use generative AI as learning resource. So this delivery 3 is the back end of the website. So delivery 1 and 2 is the front end of website, delivery 3 is the back end. By this way, this was implemented actually this semester, and actually I try to integrate generative AI into my assessment. A student learn how to use generative AI for development of the web application. And in this coursework, with this assessment, I try to evaluate the actually learning outcome. As you see here, I have a screenshot of from the Moodle. As you see, I have 3 deliveries. A student they have to actually submit 3 deliveries or sub project for this website. And here, if you notice, I asked a student to use GitHub. A student they have to use GitHub, and the reason they have to use GitHub and submit the project by GitHub because by GitHub I can look at the development process, and I can look at the team contribution, and also for that GitHub structure, I give the structure to the students. I define actually the tasks for each student because there are 3 people. Each student is responsible for which part of the project, and everything. I give the template to a student, structure to a student. They have to follow that. And by this way, I can look at by GitHub. I can check the actually team contribution and also the progress, because there is a history in GitHub. You can look at day by day what have you done, they have done in the project, and which person has contributed. You see, for second delivery.
Sorry to interrupt, just 5 more minutes. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, for second delivery, a student they have to use generative AI. I asked a student they have to submit progress report. In the progress report, actually a student, you see this is a sample. I give the template, a structure, a student a step by step. You see in step one, they have to do group discussion. After that, prompt to AI. Code generated by AI, they have to put in the report. Critical thinking, this is very important for me in the progress report, because all the assessment marking grading is based on the process. I don't mark end product. I don't look at the end product. I look at the process. And this progress report actually is evidence of the process, development process. And even for another course, I have computer network. I have a research. I give a research to a student. A student, they have to use generative AI to actually, this is another course, computer network, it's not programming. In this report, also, a student, they have to use generative AI. As you see here, I put a step by step, actually for that report, what they need to do, what they need to report. And as you see, there is a discussion, prompt to AI responses, critical thinking, refinement of the AI. And this is for my computer network assessment. One of the assessments is the research. And they get the solution for that research. Whole is from generative AI, but they have to do critical thinking. So by this way, I added integrated generative AI into my assessment, a student to learn how to use generative AI. And this is very important. And this is also, I have another progress report for delivery 3. In this progress report, also, a student, they have to add the contribution inside the project, what they actually have done. And also, they have to provide evidence from the generative AI. If they use, this is a weekly report. For each week, they have a meeting progress. They have to report what they got from AI, what responses, what critical thinking. So by this assessment, actually, I try to evaluate a student learning outcome to make sure they achieve to all objectives. And the last one, sorry, because it's a very short time. For group work also, this semester I use more programming technique. Means I have three students together. They have to sit together, and one is writing the code, another two providing feedback. But they switch in this role. And for some part of the project, I asked the student, okay, use this more programming technique because it's very effective in programming actually industry also. It's very good strategy. And also a student, they learn different styles of teamwork. We have a pair programming and mob programming. And yeah, I believe I don't have much time. Thank you. Thanks for your attention. And I stop sharing and pass the floor to you. Thank